Your Excellency, the former Senate President and the Chairman of the ADC, and with that also to recognize all the chairmen of the opposition political parties that are here with us this afternoon. Distinguished opposition leaders in Nigeria, distinguished patriots, distinguished invited guests, distinguished members of the fourth estate of the realm, and distinguished Nigerians. No moment in our political history since independence best exemplifies Shakespeare's immortal proclamation in Julius Caesar, and I quote, "There is a tide in the affairs of men, which, taken at the flood, leads unto a fortune. Omitted, all the void of their life is bound in shadows and in miseries. On such a full sea are we now afloat, and we must take the current when it serves, or lose our ventures." Distinguished delegates, distinguished leaders, we are today at the cusp of history. The political stage is set. The dramatis personae are all ready, and time is passing and passing very, very quickly. But one thing is pending, which the world honestly awaits, and that is our action. That is our joint action. This is so important that even our inaction or refusal to act will be interpreted and recorded by us by history as an action. Never, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in our democratic history have we faced the asphyxiation of the opposition as we are currently witnessing. And never have we danced so carelessly on the brink of being a one-party state in this country. The current embattled condition of the opposition in our country is the result of a state-engineered crisis, tactically deployed to all opposition political parties with the prospect of putting off a challenge to the lackluster performing APC-led federal government. We are gathered today with personal evidence of this onslaught. We are not speaking from hearsay, no guesswork, but from concrete live experience which we have gone through and which we are going through, and which, unless decisive action is taken by us, we will still be going through. A situation where renegade party members have been stupendously empowered to create problems within the rank and file of our parties, ultimately to use and to sue the party, leaving us very, very vulnerable. National institutions, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that are created as guardrails on the express lane of electoral democracy have all today either been captured or been seriously compromised. The consequence of this is that our nation has today been sent very close to the destination of either self-help or self-precipice, God forbid. Today, the perception of these critical institutions is at their lowest ebb, a point of almost no recovery. The trust deficit has not only increased, but has reached a historic level. Dear friends, dear colleagues, dear opposition leaders, dear patriots, a there is an urgent need for us to act, and to act now. This moment calls for deliberate action in defense of democracy, action in defense of our citizenship, action in defense of principles and honor. Yes, this moment demands our collective action, which makes this summit most important and most appropriate at this time in our history. We must deploy knowledge, we must deploy tact and strategy to undertake the onerous but doable task of dislodging the non-performing APC-led federal government in the interest of the survival of democracy and for the purpose of emancipating ourselves and our fellow countrymen and women. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure that by now, all of us have reached a consensus that there is an urgent need to act, and to act expeditiously. So I will very quickly leave us with questions, the answers to which should point us in the right direction at the end of this summit. Number one, what if our parties are taken away from us and given to their cronies, as they have been boasting that they are going to do? Number two, what if the APC-led federal government continues to double down on the constriction of the political space against the opposition and the opposition political parties? Number three, what if the persecution of opposition leaders continues unabated? Number four, what if the non-performing ruling party and government, INEC, and other national institutions have concluded plans to make the country a one-party state? What if, and what if? The list of what ifs is endless, and you can add your what ifs. My top of the mind solution is activation of a joint opposition framework. A framework which can be called either the Ibadan Accord or, if you like, the Ibadan Declaration. This accord or declaration will be a joint opposition platform where the defense of democracy will be the paramount interest. We must consider the parable of the simple stick and the bunch of sticks. Breaking the simple stick is the easiest thing that can be done. But when you get a bunch of sticks, then it becomes difficult even for the strongest person to do. This, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, is the task that is now facing us. To succeed, it is inevitable that we must come together. But the coming together must be guided by sense of equity, by fairness, by justice, by transparency, and by fear of God. This point has been raised earlier on by His Excellency the Chairman of ADC, Senator David Mark. And there's no underscoring the significance of this. We must be seen to be dealing with ourselves and each other fairly, honestly, and justly. If we are accusing the APC-led federal government of being unfair, of being unjust, of being inequitable, then we certainly cannot allow ourselves, when we deal with ourselves and each other, to also be accused of what we're accusing them of doing. We must not put castles in the air or walk on unrealistic assumptions. We must use data as a guide to our analysis and listen to the voices of the people. For us in PDP, we have resolved that we will open our ears and listen to what Nigerians want. And what Nigerians want is what we will give to them. I would therefore want to urge on all leaders of other political parties today that are seated here for us to agree to say that the first thing that we need to do in succeeding to dislodge the non-performing APC-led federal government is for us to go back to the people. Let us go back to the people that they have left. Let us talk to the people. Let us listen to the people. Let us hear the people. Let us understand what it is that our people want. And then let us strive to make sure that we give to our people what our people want. That is what we're going to keep process. As I end my brief address, I urge us to agree to the party banner with the resolve to work together to rescue Nigeria from the clutch of this confused and confusing ruling party. Today, we have found ourselves caught back in a situation where we are progressively retrogressing. And let me repeat that again. We today have found ourselves where we are progressively retrogressing. In other words, we are like on a treadmill. We are running and running and running. At the end of the day, are we going anywhere? We are not going anywhere. I cannot end this address without commending our host governor, the governor of Oyo State, and the proud product of my party, the PDP. Your Excellency, we are very proud of you. We are proud of you for standing up to be counted on the right side of history at a time like this. You have shown beyond question that you are indeed a true patriot who places national interest far above ethnic and other mundane issues. We are sure that this investment you are making in the sustaining of democracy, in watering the seed of democracy, in ensuring that the democratic space is widening and strengthening, is something by the special grace of God that will bring humongous returns to you, whether in the short course or in due course. Let me also admit that indeed there are other leaders in the opposition that have also been working like His Excellency to ensure that the opposition remains alive and that the project of making opposition work together, of strengthening the opposition, is something that becomes a reality. I would want to recall the governor of Bauchi State, Governor Bala Mohammed, and the chairman of the PDP Board of Trustees, Senator Adelpo Swabara GCON, all of whom are unavoidably absent in this great event. So we appreciate the sacrifices that they have made and other leaders in other political parties that have been consistent in ensuring that Nigeria is not reduced to a one-party state. I must also commend all other political parties that have agreed to the convocation of this all-important summit, most of whom were contacted by agents and government and urged not to attend. That you've decided, in spite of this stupendous pressures on you, to attend shows that you have passed your first integrity test. We pray that we will all pass all subsequent tests that may be coming our way. In the end, I wish all of us fruitful deliberations and successful outcomes. But let us not forget that this is our time. Let us not miss it. Let us not also forget that if we do, our country will be doomed. God forbid. Thank you very much for listening and God bless.